Here we go at the lovely studios of WSAN Radio, located at 502 Montana on the corner of Hackberry. We are in this black museum here. It's called the William Historical National Museum. We do a lot of our interviews and guest appearance right here in this spot where I'm sitting at. If you want to see more of our guests and see our past interviews, go to our YouTube channel. That's WSAN Radio SA. And once you go to that channel, you be going down rabbit holes. You want to see what did he say here, what happened there. So we're here for you. This is your platform, San Antonio. So come on board, come on down, and join the train ride, and come listen to WSAN Radio, San Antonio, Texas. All right, here we go. All right, good evening, everybody. You tuned in to WSAN Radio, and we are streaming live on Facebook and on Twitch. We have a roundtable going on right now. Let me cut on camera 3 so y'all can see my mug. There we go. Excuse me. We're broadcasting live on Facebook and on Twitch. And this is our first roundtable. We haven't had this roundtable in years. The original person in here is Karaoke Dee. She's been here with the round table for a while, and I think she was at the beginning of the round table. Isn't that about right, Dee Dee?
At the very beginning of the round table,
the very beginning, huh? Boy, we had it at your house, my house,
right.
Everybody's house. It was going all over the place.
But you know what, Ron? You spoiled us, okay? When I walked up, I was looking for some brisket and some, all... You used to spoil us like that, okay?
I'm going to do that on the next one. This was so fast getting together. I've been all over the place. But I did bring some cookies and cakes over there and stuff, but she's right. When they came over the house, now wait, talking about spoiling, you did the same thing.
Well, yeah, but... Okay, so we're not at my house now.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. So... But you did the same thing. You spoiled everybody over there.
Yeah.
Dee Dee did. She spoiled everybody. She would have a pot of food and a table about as long as this pew right here, filled with food and everything. So, but anyway, let's go around the horn and let everybody introduce themselves. Starting with Ty.
Hi everyone, my name is Ty Motley. I work in the legal field. I work in family law court. I'm also a motivational speaker and a 100% activist as well.
Okay, my name is Erica Powers. I feel like there's a little bit of static. I don't know if I'm talking too close. My name is Erica Powers, and I'm a real estate consultant. I help people that are going through any kind of questions or trouble with their mortgages, and I'm also an event planner. I have karaoke, trivia, game nights, tea parties, all those types of things. So I'm on the Erica Powers on all platforms.
Okay. Mr. Anthony?
All right, Anthony McKay. So I work for a school district in Texas in the IT department. Just moved here from St. Louis 2017. So that's it.
Okay. Miss Dee Dee?
All right, my name is Karaoke Dee, and I am retired Air Force and retired FedEx, and I'm just tired, totally retired, okay? Except I do have an entertainment business, and we just make sure everybody have a good time, okay? We DJ, do karaoke, do line dances, all kinds of fun things.
See, you have to go see one of her shows. You have to see it. I can't describe it. If you want to sing or can sing, Miss Powers, you go to one of her shows.
Why you calling me out like that?
Well, I see you all up there, so she can sing.
Okay, when I heard her say karaoke and trivia, I was like, ooh, see, now that's my kind of person.
Hey,
yeah.
Hey, I'm like you. We got something in common. I don't believe in throwing events where people can lean against the wall. Don't lean against the wall. If I'm in the room, if I'm on the mic, everybody's engaging and everybody's having a good time. So I'm with you.
Okay.
All right.
We're gonna talk.
Yes, absolutely.
And now we have our mystery guest.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Crystal Cross. I am a former educator of 17 and now I am the steward of God's Business, a Chicago Bible restaurant here in San Antonio, Texas.
Wow. Now, y'all see our panel. You see our panel all right here. Everybody got something different going on. And that's what I'm talking about. But our very first topic is going to be touchy. The reason why I said that, I talked to several people out there, and their topic is why we don't support black businesses. So without taking a survey, I just went out there talking to people out there, find out what's going on, what's the reason why. Mm-hmm. And the number one reason, and it really blew me away, saying we're not professional enough. And I said, can you explain being professional? Well, most black businesses, they just put things together and call it a business. And I looked at it, I said, well, where is that coming from? Because in order to be a business, most time people have a business plan, all that's going on, they go into it. And one of the other ones was service. They didn't like the service. They were rude all the time. And I'm trying to figure out, well, I'm just getting these from black people that said all this. I said, well, what else is there to go with that? You know, well, we're always looking for a deal. And black people will not give us, a black business will not give us a deal. So I asked them this question. When you go to Walmart, do you pay what's on there? Yeah. I said, well, how come you can't do the same thing for a black business? Granted that the inventory is not that high, so they really can't cut the prices down that much. They do the best they could do to survive. But the more you come in there and start ordering and doing things, the more that black business is going to prosper. But until that happens, we have a serious problem, people, on why black businesses are not being supported by our own kind. Anybody want to chime in on that?
First, I want to say, ooh. You hit a lot of things right there. I say, ooh, because it's a lot of conversations that I've had myself and a lot of truth to some of those stereotypes. But I think I'm more so want to get to maybe the whys and maybe the what can be done to change some things. I'm gonna be totally real with y'all. I'm very comfortable being the opposite opinion sometimes, and I will say I'm gonna be as honest as I can. When I had my wedding business and bakery, when I had our people come in, they were the worst brides to deal with. They wanted the most for the least. And so you talked about getting a deal. Getting a deal is something that I hear a lot. It's like, because we're both brown and we're both operating a business together, that means that I got to cut you a deal. And I've seen that a lot. I don't know what y'all's experiences are, but, you know, sometimes depending on what it is, you know, if you're working with family or whatever, you know, you might want to extend the olive branch, or you might want to help out because we know what the struggles are like. But at the same time, it's got to be sustainable. We've got to allow our businesses to thrive and be sustainable. So I can say a lot more, but I just want to say, ooh, I'm going to let somebody else talk, because you touched a lot of things.
Well, okay, now you talk about black people supporting black businesses, and, you know, they want a deal, they want a discount. It's always, well, I'll be the first one to tell you, I do want a deal, but I don't care what color you are, okay? I don't care what business you're in. If I can get a deal, then I'm going to get a deal. And it's not because this is a black business or whatever. If I go to Walmart and, you know, I see something on the rack that I want, I'll talk to somebody and be like, well, you know, I'll make something up trying to get a deal. So it's not just with black businesses. But the thing about black businesses, Ron, is you said that inventory is low, okay? Well, when you're dealing with a small business, yeah, inventory is low, and your prices are going to have to compensate for the low inventory, you know? Another thing is a lot of black businesses are not always readily accessible. I gotta go a long way to find like things that I shop for on a daily basis. let's say in this city, I gotta look hard to find a black business that's gonna provide me what I'm looking for, you know, in order for me to sustain my lifestyle and what I do and what my needs are, you know, is just not there for the most part. And I will go out and support a black business and buy this and buy that, but it's only because it is a black business and I want them to succeed, okay? But I may not really need the items that I'm buying from them. Anybody?
Yes, I would love to chime in on that. Several different things. Unfortunately, everything you stated, Ron, is absolutely true. The professionalism being one of the top tier ones. I think one of the main thing that separates us is we're not understanding that we do not have to operate. Our first goal is to realize that we're actually a business, not just a black business. And when we come to realize that we're a business like every other business, we'll be able to take it a little bit serious. And that's where you start coming in with the deals. I want you to give me a little bit of more slack because I am black. And that's not the business profession. So we think that we should, as a whole, be giving these deals and these breaks. If I go to your business as a black business, I'm going to treat it just like any other business. And no, you're not going to get a lead off the foot just because you look like myself. And I think that's one of our starting points. And also the type of people that we do hire. The same way that we carry ourselves when we go into any type of business. I want it to be professional. I want to see professional people when I walk into a business. Again, it's a training measure. We should be able to take those measures to train people how to look, how to speak, how to have customer service skills, because whether it's a black business or anywhere else, I will automatically turn away if I'm not getting, I will never even get to the goods if I can't walk through the door and feel welcome professionally.
You said a lot right there. I'm going to throw another number out there to everybody. Do you know in the white business, that money stays in their community for over 6 months? Asian, Oriental, it stays like 3 months in there.
Longer.
Now, let me tell you about the black business. You're going to be shocked. 1 hour.
It circulates one time.
Yep. You want to elaborate on that?
No, I had a conversation. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong with this mic, but I had I had a conversation with a cousin of mine in Houston. We talk a lot about business. He's very successful in his business as well, and I liked some of the things that he added about maybe the source of some of the things we're bringing up. You know, you talk about an attitude and just like lower inventory and things like that. And unfortunately, like I said, sometimes those stereotypes may be true, but we are a more stressed people in general. And the unfortunate part about it is money is green, okay? Money is green. It doesn't matter whose business it is. It doesn't matter. It spins the same. But yet you've got so many other things going on in the background. So then now you're able to compare that same green money with a more stressed people, and it looks like now we've got all these other issues that we're talking about. So I think the problems of how we even got here are more systemic and, you know, more in the background, and it may surface, unfortunately, because we are able to see it, right? If I walk in the room, I'm gonna see y'all before I may see another, you know, race of people, because you my people, right? So I'm gonna pay attention. If you have a business, I may pay more attention to your business, but then I really want you to succeed because you're my people. But then I'm easily able to see some of the flaws because I'm paying closer attention. I've seen a lot of other businesses that have challenges, but they don't stand out the same because they're not the ones that I'm paying close attention to. I'm paying close attention to the ones that's from family. And so I think those are some of the challenges that we run into, is that we are just a more stressed people overall. And then from a historical standpoint, we started with a lot less. We have a lot less footing, a lot less grounding to even get started, a lot less knowledge, a lot less money. So we've got a lot of other reasons that are going into some of these things that we're talking about that is unfortunate, but I think the onus is on us for us to do better about banding together to make up for those shortages.
So I like the last sentence that you said, right? It's on us to own up to it, to change things, and to make moves in that. And so one of the things that I decided to do, even before becoming a business owner, before a Chicago Bite was even in my mind, when George Floyd was killed, I decided it was just a wake up for me that we need to care about us more and we need to help us more. So I decided that I was going to spend my money with us. So I buy black tissue, I buy black paper towels, I buy black soap. If I want to go eat somewhere, it's a black-owned business. It is. And I've been doing that since 2020 because it's important to me to start changing things. And it goes deeper than just the black dollar. We wonder why in our community the wealth gap is so large. Oftentimes we don't want to get insurance. We don't want to get life insurance. Other nationalities, other races, when you think about how they get inheritances, or all the time, they started this business because they got an inheritance from their grand. What is that? What is the inheritance that they got? 9 times out of 10 is an insurance policy that they received. Their grandma died and left them money through the insurance policy, and we don't want to get insurance. We don't. My grandmother died, and it's no reason why my aunt who lived with her every single day should have been struggling to pay the rent the next month. She should have gotten insurance. That's just the way I feel. Everyone doesn't feel that way, but that would close a lot of the gaps in our wealth, in our communities, if people would just get insurance policies. Everybody's gonna die. Everybody. It's one way in and one way out. So I strongly believe that, we just need to, that's why I agree so much with your last sentence. We need to start with us changing the way we think. It's our mindset. A lot of things are going into this growth mindset thing. We need to grow our minds about our finances and about, how we look at money and how we look at things.
I have a question for you. Mm-hmm. Okay, you said you have a business, right? Mm-hmm. And you said everybody's gonna die eventually. Mm-hmm. So when you die, who's gonna take over your business?
That's a good question.
And I only ask that because, I talk to my kids, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm leaving all this to you. This is going to be for you guys. And no, Mom.
Well, I don't want it.
That's not my thing. That's your thing. Okay.
So to answer your question right now, my nephew has said that he wants it. Okay. He's made interest in it. But it will be for my children to decide, what happens to it. It really doesn't matter to me. They can sell it. They can leave it to my nephew. They can do whatever. But hopefully before I die, it will be the next McDonald's. So it'll be a corporation.
So. You brought up something there that we gotta change. We gotta change. So I went back. I'm always reading. Mm-hmm. So I'm going back to slavery days, just to bring us in perspective what's going on. When one slave got in trouble, they all got in trouble. Mm-hmm. That was mentality back then. I still see that today right now. Oh, I'm not doing that. If he mess up, then I'm going to mess up too. And they're going to hold me accountable. And you're not even part of it. I think a lot of people are scared to take that leap of faith. You know, they talk about the Bible, they talk about what they want to do. When it comes down to doing it, they don't want to do it. They scared they're going to fail. Failure is a part of education. If you fail at something, you turn around and try to do it better next time around. Because that, to me, years wandering is years gathering experience. It's okay, you failed. What can you do next time around? You learned your lesson. What can you do again? And I think that's the problem we have right now. People are scared to fail.
I think that being scared to fail, it really looks at, or maybe it's thought of as what someone else is going to think. I have a cousin who owns a restaurant in Chicago. It's called Jerk 48. It's a famous up-and-coming now restaurant. Her and her husband. Before they had Jerk 48, they had Main Street Grill. Main Street Grill, quote unquote, failed, right? It closed. And then they turned around and used the knowledge and everything that they gained from Main Street Grill and opened up Jerk 48, who now are on their 5th location and are thinking about locations in Atlanta and other places. So I think that failure is related to what someone else is going to think, you know, and we have to just, again, change that mindset and change that thought process. That's the only way we are going to, you know, collectively change as a whole. It's one person at a time, you know?
And it's starting when our kids are young. You know, like, we need to show them how to do this starting at a young age. So by the time they're adults, they'll know more of what they want to do. I mean, because oftentimes kids, you know, they grow up, they go to school, they still don't know what, you know, well, what do you want to be? You know, they don't know. And I was that kid, you know, when I graduated from high school, and I was like, I still don't know what I'm going to be. You know, I just go get it. You know, what was familiar to me was you get a job, you know.
Well, I think it also goes back to what's at the foundation of the mindsets. We come from a more, like I said, depravity, or we have less to work with. And so with what Ron, with what you were just saying, afraid to fail, afraid to try. Well, if I've only got this little $100 right here, you know, I am more afraid to take a chance with that, with this $100, than if I had $1,000. And so I think it starts with a scarcity, but then the mindset has to shift. Right? You have to shift it at a younger age so that becomes a natural thing. Some people are going to be just born with it, and you know, I think being an entrepreneur is a lot to do with your personality, and then you add that training on top to teach you that mindset, that perspective. This isn't failure, this is training, this is experience, this is an opportunity, you know. So I think it starts with that, but there's the shift that does have to happen, and we do have the responsibility with the younger people so they can know, you know, and what are they watching? What are they seeing? Are we going to keep doing this? Is this going to be a perpetual cycle? Or are we going to say, okay, this is a system that someone else did that works, so I'm going to have to understand what risk is, and have to understand what quote-unquote failure is, and where the opportunities are in that.
Well, I think I have to look at it in a different way. As far as us as Black people as a whole in businesses, Black businesses are not failing everywhere. I think the bigger question is, why are Black business failing, say, in the areas that we're at? Just to give an example, Atlanta, there's plenty of thriving, prosperous Black businesses there. Why are those businesses doing very, very well? But then you have a place like San Antonio, where the businesses, they're not doing well. The people are not as supportive. And I think all of it comes back to what everyone has said here is absolutely true. But a lot of it comes back to trust. What I'm finding, someone being from Detroit, this is very different from me here, because where I came from, Blacks as a whole were a little bit more trusting of one another, so you were a little bit more open. When I came here, it was very, very different, because Black people don't trust each other here, whether we want to admit it or not. That's one of the main things. So just like Crystal has a business over there, you can have 7 Black people that knows about her business, but they're going to go to the Bites right down the street simply because she's Black, because it's that we don't trust each other. But that is something that's been adapted here, just to see in this specific area, to where we don't have a trust for one another. But to go somewhere, like I said, in Detroit or Atlanta, it's more of a trust there. You're more open to your people. You're not scared of your people. And that is one thing that I think needs to be taken into consideration also. You're not going to visit, you're not going to promote into, you're not going to circulate that dollar with people you do not trust. But again, I think that here, since I've lived here, I think it has more to do with being conditioned and oppressed against your own people. So that's one of the main reasons I see anyway from being in Texas. And that's not to say Houston, because there are a lot of thriving Black businesses in Houston. However, I can't say the same thing for the surrounding areas in San Antonio. And I from what I've seen since I've been here, it has a lot to do with being conditioned and oppressed and not trusting one another. In other words, the bred people here, meaning people that were bred here, especially in the San Antonio area, they actually have more so of a disdain for each other. So it's almost like pulling teeth to get these people to support you here. So I think if we can get over that challenge to get each other to trust each other, because it's been so embedded clearly here, getting over that one step first would actually take us to another step.
You know what?
I think part of the challenge here, you're talking about San Antonio. I don't know what the Black business is, so I've been here since 2017, like I told you. And I've been looking for Black businesses, right, to support. I found a couple on the south side. I know one is no longer open, and like the young lady here was saying, the Black soap, I use that faithfully, so I have to get it online. So I think, you know, if we knew how to support our Black businesses or know where they are, I think more Black people would support those businesses.
I think the number one thing that's you got first of all, when you mention places like Detroit, which is my hometown, you know, my home. I was born in Pontiac, okay, but my family lives in Detroit, and Atlanta. What's different about those two cities when you compare it to San Antonio?
The population of African
Absolutely.
Americans.
And that makes a big difference when it comes to supporting Black-owned businesses. And that's why it's so difficult to find them, okay, because, and like in those cities, every corner, you know, everywhere you look, you're gonna find and if you don't like this one, you can go to that one. Because like when I moved here, I'm looking for people that are gonna sell my hair care stuff, you know, and if it's a Black-owned business, I am so there. But like you said, I got a little hard to find them.
Okay, so where are you looking? Because here I am to name some places, right? So there's a business called Black Business San Antonio that lists like all of the businesses in San Antonio, right? And I found that on Facebook, you know. You have the Black Chambers who list and support other, Black businesses. But of course I found that by being a Black business owner. So I agree that it's hard to find, but maybe not agree 100% because where are you looking or how are you looking for them? Because if you Google Black business near me, a lot of Black businesses will pop up, and one Black business will lead you to another.
And they need to hear this from you, okay? People need to know what they can do to find those Black businesses, and you just told them.
Yeah.
A lot of people, when I first moved here, okay, and that was back in '98, I was told, don't go on the east side. And I didn't know why. I just didn't go on the east side. And then finally, I went on the east side, and I was like, oh, So this is why they don't want me to go on the east side, because this is where a lot of black people are at. Okay, I can go on the east side.
Right.
Maybe y'all feel like y'all can't go on the east side.
Right.
But it took me a while to figure that out, you know, because of what I was being told when I first moved here. So a lot of people, they don't know. They really don't know. They just look at what's right there, you know, what they can see. You know, it's like you move into a neighborhood, and what do you see? Who lives in your neighborhood with you? You know, if you're not living where it's predominantly black. And if you're around predominantly black people, then you can ask those questions to those people, especially the ones that have been here for a while. But it's going to take you a minute to figure that out.
And that's what I was thinking about when you were saying Tia, right?
It's Ty.
Ty. Okay, I'm sorry. But that's what I was thinking when you were talking about, you know, the population, because you take big cities like Atlanta and Houston and Texas. I'm not Texas, I'm sorry. Chicago, Detroit, you know, Houston, places like that, you know, that are, you know, overpopulated with us, or maybe not overpopulated, but you know,
we have a strong presence.
We have a strong presence in those places, in those areas, and in San Antonio, we 7%.
I think a big part of that, though, it creates the crabs in the barrel concept, where it's like, if I've got fewer people, you know how sometimes people say when other people are succeeding, it makes it hard for you to allow yourself to have the excuses for not succeeding. It's a scarcity here. So with a scarcity, you've got a crabs in the barrel concept a lot of the times, instead of a partnering for profit. I'm big on partnering for profit. You know, you should be working together. I mean, yes, the concept of competition is there, but I almost look at it like there is no competition.
And you know what? A customer called me and he said, hey, I met your competition. And I said, huh? He said, yeah, I met your, and I don't remember what place he was talking about or someplace, but I said, I don't have any competition. Right. This is God's business. What business are you talking about so I could go and support them? We have to change our mindset again. Exactly. And it takes one person at a time. And so with me telling him, I don't have any competition because this is God's business. This is not my business. And I want to know what business you're talking about that's my competition, because I'm going to go over there. I want to go meet them. I want to talk to them. I want to support them. I want to help them. There is not a business. I don't care what they doing. You know, somebody came in the restaurant the other day and he was like, I'm looking to, you know, we're going to start a business too. And yeah, we're going to start a Chicago style business. It's going to be right down the street. And I was like, oh, really? Where you get? And he was like, you're not concerned about that? And I was like,
why? What they got to do with my peach pie?
There you go. That part right there.
My greens.
What would really be nice if, like, all of us black businesses could be right down the street, and we had like a community, and people could come hang out and just go from one place to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, you know, and do things like on the weekends, and just all of us together have our you know, I'm dreaming, okay?
But I'm gonna jump in when you said that. It'd be nice. In Chicago, it's like that.
Yeah.
But
we're not in Chicago.
But let's be careful with that, because it would be nice. But those are one of the reasons why I moved from Chicago, because it was so segregated. It was all of us in this area, all of them in that area, all of them in this area. And the segregation is what bothered me. So I like being here in San Antonio, where it's multicultural and it's not so segregated. So we just have to be careful with that. It would be nice, and it will be nice if we have a Black Wall Street in San Antonio. Yes.
Who are your customers?
All.
So
everybody.
You get some of everybody.
I get some of everybody, and that's what I like. I meet people from all different spectrums, all different walks of life, all different. And I'm not gonna lie to you. Being in Chicago, being in predominantly African American neighborhood is why I moved to San Antonio. We were scared. We were concerned.
Y'all were scared in Chicago?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
We were concerned about our lives. It's so much black on black crime in Chicago. It's us killing us in Chicago. So that's one of the things that would concern me about just having all of us in one area. Like, that'd be nice.
I want to chip in there. You bring up some great points. the diversity is good, and that's what I started off with. I like the idea of, yes, we are Black owned. However, at the first, you're still a business, because business, and Ron, you and I had this conversation before as well. Businesses make money. And money is green, and you want that money from every single person. So I like that as well. But what the bigger and the deeper concern is that why are we afraid to have our own people amongst us? And even myself, do I want to go literally move into an entire Black neighborhood? 100% not. Look, 100% not. Because unfortunately, our people do not know how to behave. A lot of them, they're not going to keep up their property. They have the mindset, I don't own it, so why do I have to keep it up? But where does this come from? Where does this start at? And it's a very sad thing, and a lot of people, they try to get around it or not talk about it, but it's factual. If we did have a place where it's just only all Black people, and like you said, with no diversity, could that be an accomplished business? 100% it can. Ron, one place we were talking about the other day was Miss Toya at Horizons.
Yes.
That's predominantly Black. I visited there several different times. I love the environment. I've never been there and felt unsafe or anything to that nature. We can have those type of places and also spaces. It's the maturity level. And sometimes you do have to make boundaries and rules to say, hey, none of that hood stuff over here. Don't bring it over here. You go to your own little place over there. So it's okay for us to make boundaries. It's okay for us to pick and choose what type of Blacks and everybody else that we want in our space. Because unfortunately, until we get it right as a unit, that's what we're going to have to do. Because I'm not just going to go to somebody's business where I feel enslaved. I don't care what color you are.
Well, I think that brings to the point of back to what I said, money is green. But I think we have more of an education and an economy issue than a Black issue. Because once you change your education level and your economy, all of that stuff kind of dissipates. And again, I think it's back to the same concept of, like I said, if I walk in the room, I see us. So I'm going to pay attention to what we are doing first. And so I can speak to us because I know what we are doing. But I bet you if you're talking to a Hispanic culture, if you're talking to, Hispanic, they got their version. White folks, they call it trailer trash. We call it ghetto, hood, whatever we want to call it. Everybody has that in their particular nationality or race or whatever. So I think, we're specifically talking about us, but I think it's less of a Black people issue and more of an education and economy issue. And then that goes without saying. I don't care what color neighborhood I'm in. If this education level and economy is not at a certain level, I don't want to be there. Because I just don't. I'm not comfortable there. I'm comfortable where, whether it's middle class or whatever you want to call it. So I think that's more so what we should start focusing on. I think this country is big on dividing us based on our color instead of dividing us on what it really is. The class system is what it is, no matter your color. Because when you fill out that tax form or when you go into the store with your money, if you got enough money, you can get whatever you want done, no matter what color you are, generally speaking.
And when you talk about the education piece of it, I think that we need to show our kids, hey, look at this successful Black woman, look at this successful Black man. Bring these kids around at a young age and show them, hey, you can do this. Yeah. Instead of just letting them go outside and run around and I think we have to start with the kids. It's going to have to start somewhere. Yeah. Right? And I think that's where we're losing it. We're not showing our kids. We're not showing our kids the successful business. Like the lady right here. I think if the kids know that they can do what you're doing. I just think that would just kind of make a difference.
I just want to let everybody know the phone lines are open. If you want to call in and chime in on this subject right here, it's 210-461-8034. We would love to have you chime in, because I tell you what, we got some interesting stuff going on right here. As you said, the mentality and the changes, the cycle has to be broken. See, that's where we're at, the cycle.
Yeah.
Education is part of it. When I was going to school, they showed us how to count backwards with money, how to give change back. We had business. They showed us how to fill out a job application. Heck, there was trade in high school. You want to be a mechanic. All that was there.
Where'd you go to school?
Zion, Illinois, north of Chicago.
And that is my precise problem with the education system here in Texas. When I first moved here, the students did not know how to count money. They did not how to, that's called counting up, right?
Yeah.
Counting up, not rounding down, which is what they taught the they were teaching the kids. You round down, and I was like, what is that? You don't round down. The number doesn't go down. It stays the same. You don't go down. You can round up, but it doesn't go down.
Yeah.
And that was my problem. I'm a math guru. Like, I'm a math person. I love it. And I don't know how many times I was given the wrong change at restaurants here when I first got here. Whataburger, Popeyes. They gave me the wrong change, and it was simple, and I'm like, I just, that's the problem. In the educational system, it's not the same everywhere you go.
Well, is that a Texas thing, or is that a time thing?
Or a district, school district thing, or
It's
what?
definitely district, and it's definitely like it's our country.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It is definitely
moving in that direction.
It's definitely our country, and things should be the same across the board in the
Yes.
country, and they're not. The No Child Left Behind it was for the country, but it's not the same. When you go to Chicago or Illinois, a teacher has to have a 4-year degree to become a teacher. In Texas, you can be an alternative certified teacher. That means anybody can just go. You don't have to have a 4-year degree to become a teacher. So it's not embedded. It's not like in your heart, you know. I felt like when I was a teacher, it was in my heart. I was a teacher because that was what I was born and bred to do. So that's why I was so confused when God called me to be a restaurant owner. I was like, wait, God, no.
But do you think, starting with the education, even with myself raising my daughters, which they're adults now, most of the training from my daughters came from me at home. You cannot depend on this, unfortunately, especially here in Texas, not even to jump on the black part of it. You're not going to learn all of this. Who's going to teach it to you? Like, who's going to teach it to you in school? I don't have any little ones in school, but I can just imagine the way that it's going now. But I'm pretty for certain, like you said, with the level of these teachers, who's teaching them these things? So we have to start somewhere down the line taking accountability for, because if any change is going to come, unfortunately, we're not going to be here to see it, because it's not going to change overnight. Any efforts that we're making, they're going to be the efforts for our kids and the generation after, and for our grandbabies. It's up to us to implement it, to try to execute it, but we're not going to see the benefits of the rewards for it, meaning any of us more than likely, because it's been a slow process, and it still is a slow process. But I think we do have to take accountability of start teaching our children, whether it's the grandbabies, the kids, more so at home before they step out of here. And I did it with mine. We lived at the library. Like, it was a weekly trip for us. It was fun, you know, and I was very, very active. I taught, even to this day, my daughter calls me and Mom, did you see this? Because she's going back to what I taught her when we were 5, 6, 7, 8. So depending on the school system, I think is where we're going wrong and where we're going to continue to go wrong, because our kids specifically, whether it's talking about math, high level, and that's just even compare kids as a whole to the kids that's in China. They're 10 times more accelerated. So if we start taking our kids and do the training and the teachings that's not being done in school, our kids can be ahead too, but we can't depend on these school systems. The school systems have failed our children, probably our children.
I want to chime in real quick what you just said. Have anybody heard what happened in Houston?
When, what?
The governor took over Houston. They fired all the school board members, the superintendent. They took the library out to schools and made it into a detention center.
I heard that. I didn't even know that was real.
Now we're talking about we got to educate them. How can we educate them when you got somebody that don't have an educating background and think he know what's best for the kids by doing this? Part of the problem is we need to get rid of these little dictators that are governors telling us what's best for our kids without talking to us.
Oh my God.
You know, I'm just pissed off at that right there. I'm sorry, but when I heard that, how in the hell? Slow down, Ron.
That's why I'm over here punching my hand.
I said, how can we teach these kids when the government is constantly interfering, not only with the history? They act like slavery never happened. How are these kids going to learn anything if they take it away? And this is their thought process. I'm sorry to get political, but this is their thought process. They don't want their white kids to know what their ancestors did. They might feel inferior and affected by that. Hello? What?
That's why it's up to us to actually teach it. And then one thing we need to stay away from, this is kind of off topic, but you kind of brought it up, is these reminder slave movies. That's what I call them. The 40-year this, the 20-year this. I call all these things reminders. They're like, hey, we want to give you a reminder of your impression. However, we want to actually hide your history, as you're saying, away from you and the younger ones as well. But it's going to start with us because, number one, we're outnumbered. So we have to actually make a plan. We have to make a plan, a universal plan, and actually stick with it. But that's going to be our problem. Can we do that?
But when you say universal, that goes back to our country, right? And our country is just not doing what it's supposed to be doing to educate.
Well, that's because every state, every city, every school district, you know, they're all on a separate page.
It's not United States.
It really
It's
isn't
never
the
been
United
United States. It's an oxymoron. It really, it's always been that way.
My daughter is 14 years old, and she said that United States is really the ghetto with a Gucci belt on. She's never been so true.
Ouch.
Wow.
She wants to go to school in another country.
And you know what? I know some people that have their kids going to school in Australia, another country, because they teach. I'm gonna say it again. They teach. Morgan Freeman said one thing that sticks in my mind right now. We don't need Black history if we teach history. You know, you don't need it. If you teach the right history, you don't need to have all these type of history lessons going on. If you teach history for what it is and the truth, we wouldn't be going for this. But like I said, we got little dictators running around, and each one of the states decide what's best for you and your kids.
We can stop a lot of that if we vote.
Hello.
Yeah.
You know, like Texas, some folks we got to get rid of. I'm just saying, somebody we got to get rid of, okay?
Yeah, that's definitely important. I think some of the challenges that we're talking about can be, I don't want to say eliminated or resolved, but can begin to be changed from a business standpoint. And I say that because sometimes it actually hits me the type of impact that I have as a business owner. You have a different type of impact than, you know, someone that's not. And I say that because you have a power to create jobs for other people. You have a power to influence customers. You have an opportunity to advertise and get your message out in front of people. So you also have the opportunity to have centers for children to be taught or for people to meet up and have groups and opportunities to talk about these type of challenges that we have. So I know that we're talking about political things that affect us and educationally, but I still think the business part about it is more influential than I think we give it credit to. We think about business and we only think about economy and commerce, but it actually has a lot more influence and impact than I think we give it credit to. I didn't recognize that until recently when I started a new venture, and I said, wow, I just created jobs for me and other people. That's pretty cool, but it goes even further. Like a friend of mine that we talk about Upstage, that's an opportunity in the community that because they have a business that their name is in front of other places, that's a meeting area for people to come together for events. And so that's opportunities for communities to come and teach and share their message and things like that. So anyway, I just think that even with all these things that we should be aware of, even from a business standpoint, if you're able to establish that partnering for profit or having a community amongst businesses, that's an opportunity in itself.
All right, what we're gonna do now, we're gonna take a quick break, all together. And I posted a phone number on there already. Call in 210-461-8034. We are talking about, I think we were talking about.
We started out talking about
but it goes like that.
It got deep, okay?
Yeah, so we're going to take a break right now for a few minutes. So we're going to play a little music for you. So we'll get back with y'all in a little bit. All right, so I guess I need to cut everybody's mic up so we can hear everybody, right? Mm-hmm. That would be the first person I cut on. I heard, You know who that was. I'm not going to say any name, but Dee Dee come to mind. Yeah, I have been known to be an instigator. Dee Dee knows that. I always get JL and Glenn at each other, and then I just walk away. I just do things like that.
Yeah, he starts stuff.
Yeah, but it's all out of love. It's all out of love. I'm not doing it on purpose. Yeah, I am. I'm doing it on purpose. I'm not going to lie. I do that. So we are back, and it's a good conversation off camera. Mm-hmm. Great conversation talking about black businesses. I thought that we hit the nail on everything. Now, one thing I would like to say right now, I want to apologize to the black-owned business here in San Antonio who's been here their whole life. The whole panel are transplants, okay? So we're gonna get you on the show. So don't sit back and say, well, he didn't ask none of us. Okay, I admit it, I didn't. And that's my fault. But we would change that, we would rectify that down the line and get black-owned business who's been here, born here, and raised here, and maybe they give us an insight. So
that would be nice.
So I apologize for that. So don't beat me up, but I admitted it. That's all I'm saying. I admitted it. So, but we got a lot of things out there on what's been going on, and so my question is, and it's a good question. Since we see the faults and what's going on, how can we fix that?
One person at a time.
That sounds like I'm in a 12-step program. One person at a time, but you're right. One person at a time.
What does that one person at a time have to do?
Shop back, buy black, educate black, support black. Support us, educate us, be there for us. Started at home, like she said, with her daughters. It was up to her to teach her daughters. It was up to me to teach my daughter, to teach my son, to let them know the importance of education and money and saving and what you gonna do if I die or when I die. I can't be here to support you forever. You got to figure things out. Let's start. You're not going to be able to live with me when you 22, 23, 24, 25, getting up there. You got to figure things out. So it starts, like she was saying, at home. It
starts at home, one person at a time. That's what we need to do.
Can we get something together like networking and get people in here and start talking to them and find the cause and effect? Because we can sit here and talk about this for the next 20 years.
You're right. And what I think the talk has to be about also is what we all have in common, because that's what's going to bring somebody to your business. You know, people that love to eat out, they need to know how to find your business. People that, you know, like people that have things in common, people that are looking for certain things. So if we do get together and network and talk about that.
But look at what we're doing. Is that not what we're doing? Are we not starting it? You know, I met Ron, and now Ron, I don't even remember how we met. But Ron probably knows. But however we met.
Oh, I know. You want me to tell you exactly how I know?
Yes, because I don't remember.
A friend of mine told me about y'all, and I came by there on a Sunday.
Sure did.
And I came by and said, now, I'm from Chicago, and I want to know what you got in there. I don't know what I ordered. I think I ordered one of everything. But I ordered it. It was so close to home. It's like I was at home. So that was word of mouth that came to me. And when I turned around and told somebody else about it, you know, we got a lot of Chicago transplants here.
We do. And so now,
Give them your name, your address, everything right now. Tell them where you at and tell them everything.
a Chicago Bite, come and get a bite of Chicago, 2339 East Evans Road, Suite 106, open Tuesday through Sunday, 11 to 7.
Okay, see, that's how you do it.
And get the peach cobbler.
The peach cobbler. I'm looking for a good peach cobbler.
Oh my goodness.
WSA Radio.
But to answer your question, I met Ron. Ron introduced me. Ron had me on this show. And then now I knew Erica. I met Erica like a month ago. But when I met her, then she was like, "Are we going to start doing some stuff at your spot?" I was like, "Okay, come on, girl, let's do it." And that's opening the door for me to meet other people. But then Ron said, "Hey, I want you to be on this panel." And now I just met 3 more new people who is going to open the door. And now with me meeting y'all, I just gave you a book of a whole list of over 100 Black-owned businesses here in San Antonio. So, and if you come to the restaurant, it's a whole bunch more of those books.
Yeah, I was about to chime in on that. I could tell the spirit of what kind of business owner I was dealing with when I walked in her place, because she had all those directories of all the, not all, but Black-owned business directory, all that information right there when you walk in. And I had not seen those publications. I had heard of maybe one, but she had at least 4 that I had not seen before. And I was like, wow, you know, first of all, some people are not great at getting the word out. I'm not saying specific to those publications, but I was wowed at her efforts to share that. And that goes back to partnering for profit. Like, it should be a partnership amongst the community, because for her to share all of that, and, you know, it's not a commission table, you know, it's not a consignment section, you know, and here she is sharing all that, and she had stuff for the food bank. So I knew she was community-based before I ever opened my mouth talking to her, just by walking in her space. So just had to say that.
That was very nice.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was all over the place. You can see that. So I was like, okay. And the interesting thing is, you know, the place that I was working with before I approached her, I'm not working with them anymore because they looked at me as competition, and so they let me go. And I said, well, wow. So now I have an opportunity to work with people like this that are more in line with where I want to be mindset-wise. I'm not worried about no competition. Right. So you couldn't get it? Okay, it was on there earlier. I had it on my page, but now it's not there.
You know, there's plenty for everybody. Plenty in the city.
That's how I look at it too. This city is big. It's a lot of people here. What do I look like worrying about some competition?
And that's why I told the guy what I told him when he called me and said, "Oh, I met your competition." I was so confused.
Right. What are you talking about?
I heard this one word was this right here. We don't compete. we complete each other. And that's what should be done. We're too busy competing against each other. We should be competing against that giant Walmart and all the other places and not against each other. You may be in real estate. You a singer. You got a restaurant. You got a restaurant. And you a singer too. So what I'm gonna do?
Right.
No, I just pointed out. I pointed out.
You don't want me to do that.
All I'm saying, there's a piece of the pie out there for everybody.
Absolutely.
And we should support everybody no matter what. Now, I do know I'm going to step on some toes right now about the stepping community. We got Chicago steppers here. They can't get along here. I guarantee, and I think Dr. Cross going to agree with me on this one, if there's a stepping event in Chicago, another group would not hold a stepping event on the same day and same time. They all get together and work together, and they do that. They support each other. That's where we're lacking here, the support.
Right.
Because we're too busy trying to sabotage. That's a good word, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Yeah. We're too busy trying to sabotage each other and not help each other. That's just my opinion.
And speaking of supporting each other,
Go ahead.
I'll be there tomorrow, okay?
Oh. All right. For those of you who want to sing karaoke, I do it once a month at Ball Hogs, a barbecue place, and I do it for the kids.
Right, and he called me and he said, Dee Dee, I know you're doing a Saturday. What Saturday are you doing it on? I said, second Saturday. He goes, okay, I'm going to do mine on a different Saturday. See? There we go.
That was easy.
Yeah.
And I'm no karaoke person. I'll be the first one to tell you. Dee Dee would tell you, I don't like doing it. But then Dee Dee had me up there when she's out of town. She called me around, can you fill in for me? And I'll do it.
You'll help me out.
But that goes back to your question, what can we do? So one step at a time, one person at a time. So when those toes do get stepped on, though, you keep going and you keep persevering. You keep pressing forward and you don't go and step on somebody else's toes. You take that toe stepping on as a lesson.
Absolutely.
That I'm not going to do that to the next person, you know, and then and you don't out that person either, you know. You don't make a mockery, you know, of that person, and you know, put them. You still support them, you know. You still support them, and you know, because for me, that's what the Bible teaches us, that we're supposed to forgive 70 times 7. So when somebody steps on my toes, or when somebody does something to me and that I don't like, I disagree with, or I'm not going to out that person. I am not going to, you know, speak bad, you know, on them. I am not going to, you know, blast them and make them, you know, look bad. You know, I'm still going to support them. I'm still going to, you know, uplift them. I'm just going to take my business, you know, somewhere else where I feel more comfortable, but I'm not going to, you know, step on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that comes down to the mindset behind it. You know, we have problems or attitudes sometimes that are stemmed from something else. You know, when we talk about our emotions are stemmed from the thoughts that we have that create the emotions. And those emotions, depending on what type of emotion it is, can have a lasting effect. But if it's stemmed from the wrong mindset of worried about the wrong things, then you end up with the wrong emotions. and then I think that's where the attitude and all those other actions come from. So I think it's for me, it always stems back to the source of it all. What's the source of, you know, you've got the source of a kinder heart and a kinder spirit, you know, versus someone else may have a chip on their shoulder or an expectation of a handout or all the long things that we could talk about what we do.
And this can go on and on and on. Ron, normally the second hour, you know, we stick with, you know, the agenda on the first hour.
Oh, boy.
And normally the second hour of the show, we just open it up to a lot of general conversations, you know.
Don't start, Dee Dee. Don't start. And she know what I'm talking about.
And like you said, you know, we could talk about this forever and ever. I mean, because there's so many places we can go with it and all that. And we hit on a lot of good information during the first hour. But I'm just waiting on that second hour.
All right, let's lighten it up. Let's lighten it up.
This is where we lighten it up. We're not so serious. We just talk about things in life in general. And I do have a question.
I knew it. I knew it.
To get it started, okay. Question. You're a male traveling with a 5-year-old female on a 6-hour road trip. The little girl says, I gotta go potty. So what do? How do you handle the situation?
Well, I think it would be fair to let the male answer first.
How would you handle that? Now, it's not your child, okay, but it's just a 5-year-old female. You know, it could be a relative, a niece, or
She just
whatever.
threw that in there. She said, child didn't say it's not yours. You asked a loaded
I
question.
did throw that in. Okay, so how would you handle that?
Well, I don't know any other way to handle it but pull over and take her somewhere so she can use it. I have a 6-year-old, so.
Okay, pull over where? Like on the side of the road or what? Be more specific.
No. Pull over maybe at a restaurant, a clean restaurant.
Okay, now you know a 5-year-old, when they say I gotta go potty, that means I gotta go potty. Like it don't mean, 15 minutes down the road or what. But anyway,
so
let's
let me
say
say
that
this.
you find a place to take her to go potty, okay? And what happens?
So my daughter right now, she will go into the ladies' restroom by herself. I'd stand outside the door. If the place is not clean, she's going to come back out and say, I'm not using the restroom. So I take her somewhere else.
Okay, so
I guess
one scenario I did leave out. Let's say she say, I gotta go potty, and you gotta go too. Okay. And so you go.
She asked this a loaded question. Boy, girl.
Well,
So
she'll go in the restroom with me then.
she will?
Yeah.
Okay. It's in a men's restroom where there's like 5 urinals.
Well, they have
They got family restrooms.
yeah.
I was going to say the same thing.
Okay, but we not at family restroom.
You didn't say which one.
No. You're not gonna find a family restroom at every Quick Trip or every Buc-ee's or, like you're traveling. Okay. All right, let's say Buc-ee's. You stop at Buc-ee's.
You traveling with this little girl by yourself?
Yes.
And you're a male?
Yes.
I know, right?
You
Why
gotta go.
we doing
She
that?
gotta go. She go, why are we doing that? I mean, because this is something that happens for real, okay? And I only brought it up because I know it's a real life situation, okay? It was something that really happened, okay? And basically, my concern was this, okay? He got to go to the bathroom. She got to, they've been on the road for a while. Both of them got to go to the bathroom. So you let her go into the bathroom by herself, okay? She go to the bathroom, and you waiting on her to come back out, right? I assume, right? Mm-hmm. And now it's your turn to go. You gonna go and leave her out there by herself, or what? How do you do this? How do you?
I'm gonna help you out on this one. Trust. I'm gonna see that word trust.
Trust. Okay.
Wait, let me finish.
Okay.
Trust. So you turn around. There's another lady there getting to go to the bathroom. I say, excuse me, ma'am, my daughter has to use the bathroom. See, that's trust.
No, go ahead. Go with trust.
And you go ahead and do that. And once that goes ahead and you go use the bathroom, you come out at the same time. I would not bring my daughter into a male's bathroom.
Okay.
But on the other hand, I'm going to flip it on you. A female could do that, bring a little boy into the girl's bathroom, and there's no question about that. It's like it's a double standard for men.
It's always been a double standard, and
Yes.
it always will be. So let me tell you, I'm not gonna trust. What
Okay.
we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this car to the back of the gas station or whatever it is, and I'm gonna let the little girl use the bathroom outside. Yes, I am, and I'm gonna make sure she all cleaned up, and then I'm gonna turn around and I got a wee wee anyway, so I'm gonna wee wee right
Outside,
here,
too.
right outside too, so I can see her. Because I ain't trusting no woman. because no, seriously, I'm not trusting nobody.
I was trying to come up with
as much sex trafficking and all of this stuff that's going on.
Yeah,
the women are in it just as bad as...
Listen. 2 weeks ago, my niece was taking the garbage out at the restaurant, and a U-Haul truck pulled up by the garbage can, and she heard a girl in the back of that U-Haul screaming, "Help me, help me, somebody please help me." And the driver of the U-Haul was a woman. Who had another young lady in the back of that U-Haul screaming. She couldn't see the girl, of course, but she heard her, and she heard her.
So trust is not.
So then
okay,
then we can do old school then. We can do old school. They used to bring a little pan in the car.
Sure did. With paper towels and
everything, a pan in the car. Guy went outside and on the side of the tire, wet it up like it has tire sheen on it.
That's what we're doing.
So that's the solution then.
That's the solution for me.
See, Dee Dee always come up with something. And you see how she added on it?
It's okay.
It was just this.
It's all right.
Well, I added on because, I'm just trying to keep the situation real the way it happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so
that's what I'm gonna do.
there's the.
What you gonna do?
So I'm with the young lady over here. I don't trust Crystal. I'm sorry. I'm not leaving my daughter out anywhere because my mind. I don't know how I just wouldn't do well if something happened to my daughter.
And most places have family bathrooms too.
And they do, and then you have a lot of places where it's just.
Well, she gonna learn how to squat today.
Where you can close the door and lock it in.
I tell you what, I can answer that question right now for you. Travel with some pull-ups.
Hello?
Yeah, my granddaughter will not pee on herself.
Well,
okay.
well.
She be like pee in the pull-up. She's like, I ain't gonna pee. She won't do it.
Well, she gonna learn how to squat.
Yeah,
No more questions for you tonight. No more questions for you tonight.
Yeah. No, she's going with me.
She going into the men's bathroom, huh?
So I won't take her into a man's restroom where there's men and there's several urinals. I'm not gonna do that.
Just clear out the men's restroom.
Get the hell out.
Everybody gotta go. Everybody gotta go.
Just break out your front. Boom, boom. Y'all gotta leave.
Hello. This is clearing this out real quick. It's only gonna take us 3 minutes.
Yeah. All right, no more questions for you
I
today.
do have one more question. It has nothing to do with this, okay? Because, I like to ask relationship questions, okay? And at what point in a relationship do things change? Like, when is the new love gone? Because, when you first in a relationship, right, everything is so exciting and you're getting to know each other and, but then, all right, now we've dated, yeah, I'll marry you, we get married, now we like 10 years. At what point do things change? Like, when is that new love gone? Because it does change.
It should never be gone. Wait, let me finish.
When do things change?
See, the problem is, that's a loaded question. Because you don't know when things change. I can say this, though. When you fall in love, it's a gradual thing. When you fall out of love, it's the same thing. It's a gradual thing. You don't know how you got there. So you got to go back and think, when we first met, why was that fire there when we first met? It's not there right now. It's both of you. It's not just one. It takes two. So if the fire's not there, then you got to do something to ignite that fire. Back again. How you going to do it? Date night? Throw on some music, striptease? I'll just put it out there. You got to do something to spice it up. And everything. That's just my opinion because no matter if you marry that person, you're gonna be with them for better or worse. But let's get married. Let's talk about relationships.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about, relationships. Now, that's a tough one right there because number one, you committed to them, but you're not committed. You know what I'm saying? You could go ahead and go out with that person for 4 or 5 years, and then point instances, I know you got a chick on the side. Maybe that's their way of spice, to have somebody on the side. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I guess you're the only one saying it because anybody else is saying it.
I'll wait, but it looked like people got quiet.
Why you crying? Why
Nobody else has
The
said
topic
anything.
is very, like, I agree with Ron. I'm not for sure where we're going with the question because it's very subjective. Relationship, I mean,
Everybody's different.
it's going to be a gazillion answers for that. I'm not for sure where we're going with the question because, like you said, like Ron stated, a relationship, a marriage, these are things that take time to build up. So now it's almost like you're going to be pointing finger at one party or another because it could be anything. It could be the lack of the lack of communication, finances. I mean, it's just very subjective.
But it happens, right? Where
It happens
it's
in
not.
life on a daily basis.
Yes. Yeah.
But like Ron said, it don't always happen and it doesn't have to happen. You can
Right.
spice things up, but one of the things is the commitment piece. Are you committed to that person? So if things do begin to change, are you committed to that person so that they can change for the better or not necessarily change and, end up in divorce, or end up in separation or whatever the case may be. So it's all about that commitment and that commitment, in the beginning, that initial commitment and the continuance of the commitment. But that's just like with anything. That's just like, in business. In my daily devotionals, it was talking about commitment and pressing and staying the course. We talk about businesses and how they fail and things like that. People aren't committed. You don't, stay the course. Oftentimes, when you open a business, you don't think that people say it takes 3 to 5 years to see your money. Do you understand that before you open the business? Are you committed to that before you open the business? Do you understand really what that is? So that's just like with a marriage. Do you understand what this commitment means? For better or worse, do you understand what that means? Are you committed to that? Are you committed to the for better or the for worse? Do you know what that means?
But see, the other thing is when you said that, how it goes array. I think part of the problem is it's real easy. Communication. If you're not talking to each other, how you gonna know what's going on if you're not talking to each other?
Well, are you committed to talk to that person?
Right. And you should be. You should be able to open up and talk about anything to that person. I'm gonna think on the man side of it because I'm a man. I'm gonna think on that side. I think a lot of men shuts down because not all women, so don't beat me up in here. That's why I brought Anthony in here. a lot would turn around when you get in any type of little discussion, what you confide into your woman about, she would turn around and use that against you.
Men do that too.
Yeah, well, I know that, but I'm gonna give my point of it.
Oh, sorry.
Who said that? That's Erica?
No, that was not me.
Who said that? I know it happens on both sides. I know it do because we are our own worst enemy because we would turn around and confide in each other and use that against each other when you get in top of even a slight little disagreement. Well, you did this. Now, you know what? That's water on the bridge. We agreed to squash that. And now you bring it back up again? I'm just saying. Because if you discuss something and it's done, and it's clear, why bring it back up again? That means you never got over it.
Yeah, that's true.
Erica?
This is where I get to put my shameless plug that I have a love, sex, dating discussion panel September 30th. So that's what we do at our love, sex, dating discussion panel. And I always have 2 men and 2 women on the stage, and everyone in the audience gets to chime in and put what they want about these types of topics, and we take topics from the public.
Where's that going to be?
That's going to be at Upstage Comedy Lounge on September the 30th. You can follow the Erica Powers or Adorian events and find out more about it.
Look at this.
But, shameless plug.
So who's gonna be on the stage?
So on the stage this time around, we have Clifton.
I know Clifton Simmons.
Yeah.
Hey, Clifton, if you out there.
I just saw him this morning.
Another plug.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have B. Ken, if he can come back. I know he's been away for some time, but if he's back, he'll be the host of that particular event. I have, I'm drawing a blank. I have a sexologist, Brandon. I have a polyamory Dr. Nancy, and then I have, her name escapes me right now. So forgive me if you're watching. I can't think of her name right now. But yes, I do have that discussion panel, and that's something I'm passionate about, dating. So you say, why am I quiet? Well, I've had a lot of different things in my life lately that are hitting on some of these topics, especially the topic of trust specifically. Just coming out of a violent divorce, and it took me so long to get out of it, and all the things that have been happening in recent times. So that topic of trust, when you say commitment, it's like, for me, it's the challenge of how long do you stay in this thing?
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're committed. See, the teachings of church and all those things had me in a certain mindset for so long that I did put up with way more than I should have for too long. So the topic, yes, commitment is very important, and trust is extremely important, but then there's that line. And then I challenge myself because I'm a strong woman. And so it's always like, am I going to be on the softer female side right now, or am I about to put my foot down? So that's one of the challenges that I do. How much do you take in this commitment? And how much do you trust that things will work out when something ain't smelling so right?
And you choose your battles.
Absolutely.
Okay? Oh my God,
Absolutely. So, and I happen to have a little battle going on with someone right now that it's a trust factor. Right when I was ready to work on my trust, because I do have a problem trusting guys specifically. Some of that might have to do with the divorce, but also just in general. And I'm just gonna, hope don't throw anything at me, guys. But in general, I don't even do business with guys. I feel like their egos get in the way a lot. I do business a lot better with females. So trusting with guys to make the right choices is a challenge of mine. And there's a guy friend that I have that I recently said I was going to try to work on my trust because it kept coming up. And then he's tanking. He's tanking again. And I'm like, okay, how long do I allow for this before I fight back? And
But
so
the
that's
thing is, you recognize it though. Like you're very conscious
I am.
of what you're going through, and you're very conscious in the decisions that you're making. So
Yeah, I'm conscious and aware. That don't mean I know what button to push or, what decision to make at all times. And I think that's with anything else. Even if this were business, do I, don't I? Do I put this newspaper ad out when nobody's reading the paper anymore? It may work, it may not work. How much money do I put on this Facebook campaign? I don't know. So, I think relationships, I think there's not enough training on the importance of relationships. Relationships goes through business, but obviously through every other interaction that we have with people. And I think that's where a lot of my passion comes in, from the dating world and just what relationships are in general. So I'm quiet because I got a lot to say. So I just let y'all have that.
You quiet, but you got a lot to say. I like how you put that.
I'm going to let y'all have that one, because I can keep going on that topic.
Yeah, but that is it goes both ways for male and for female, because you said it, trust issue is something else. But I see that on both sides, when they get into a relationship, they bring that same luggage with them. They don't let it go. And you can't judge your next relationship on your past relationship, or you would never move forward.
That's very true. But like I said, there's the caveat of how much is too much. Because if you touch the iron and you've been burned, you know what that feels like and you want to avoid it. And so that's the challenge. Where is that line? It's not fair to the new person coming along for you to judge or base your decisions off of what that last person did. But at the same time, I'm human. I have a brain. And this started to smell funny. And so you just have to add wisdom and into your experience, and don't just, be so quick to make those decisions. I'm with you. Communication, so very important. Even right now with the challenge I have with this person, they're not communicating, and I don't like that. I don't do a lack of communication. It's darn near disrespectful to me. You got a mouth. You know, you can communicate, and especially with a person like me, I'm open to, I'm a reasonable person. I happen to be a very logical female. So you have the opportunity to communicate a lot of things with me. We're not gonna deal with the emotion in the same way that some females may deal with the emotion. If you cut off communication, then that opportunity is lost.
So what if you're dealing with a person that's really not a good communicator? It doesn't mean that they're trying to disrespect you in any way or not. I mean, it's just that they're not a good communicator. You know, they're not a comfortable communicator. They kind of sit back, watch, learn, you know, observe or whatever, but they're not really good. You're good. You're a good communicator. Everybody else, everybody isn't.
I'm dealing with that right now. I am. And I agree with that. But the challenge is you can't drag them to it. And so it's like sometimes I'm aware, like I'm literally thinking of a situation and a person right now that is very distracting to me because they're near and dear to me. But they are a terrible communicator. And so I am aware of what I see, but there now goes back to that challenge. How much is enough? How much do I allow the excuse or the reasoning of you not being a good communicator to allow for these fallacies to take place? This is a problem. We are adults, and I understand you may not be a good communicator or you may be more emotional than I am, but how much do I suffer from your lack? And that's where I have the challenge, because I guess I sit back and I observe a lot, so I can see that. So there's a little, you know, it's a little give, and I'll allow a few things, but then it gets to that point, you know. So I just try to be very observant and understanding, but that's I guess that might be the thing with me. Once I'm there because I've given you that opportunity. I have given you the chances, and now, okay, a decision has to be made. So.
Okay.
Wow. We came off deep on that one, didn't we, y'all?
She started it.
Who said that? But no, this is real talk. You know, these are some of the things that both sides need to know. It's real talk, because we go through life and we don't communicate with each other, even as business. You know, with Dr. Cross right here, I didn't know who she was. I went in a restaurant. I went in there talking noise, didn't I? I came in. She had this young girl. She had this young girl up there taking my order and everything, and I was giving her a hard time, but that's what I do. But did all that. But she came to the table and we talked about everything. She talked. Yeah, I got that sauce straight from Chicago, because I asked her, "Do you make this?" She said, "No, I get it. I get it flown down here, whoever gets down there."
I get flued out.
Yeah. So those are things to do. When I first met Dee Dee, it was at Jazz House Bistro.
The Jazz House and Bistro.
Bistro. Yeah, I met her there, and that was going on. And I met Erica. She was at the 100 Black Men. You know. I met Ty through Maria Williams, went over there, and I met Anthony through his wife. So, you know, it's just right there, just talking about the 5 people right here. And then I turn around and use word of mouth again to somebody else. Now, I brag about Ty over there because she brought some things out on me, because I'm a one-man show, okay? It's only me. I can't see everything. She sat down and picked my brain and saw some stuff that I could fix in 5 minutes. And, you know, just seeing that, you know, I didn't see that. She said, right down there where you at, and showed me, Ron, do this, change this, change that. And the first thing she said, how open are you to anything? I said, I'm open to anything. She said, this is going to be easy to fix. You remember that time?
Well, you have the openness, just like being here. And unfortunately, the type of world that we live in, people like things, our attention spans are very, very short. So if you have a radio station, people, what are you talking about? What's going on? You have to get their attention. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. Yeah. And topics like these, they'll be more interested in it. Then you were a good example, Ron. Erica was on here before, and we were talking about the title of it and listening to her, and I'm like, no, that shouldn't. She said 20 other great things that's going to catch the eye of the person that's looking at that video. We discussed that as well. So, yeah, I like it.
Oh, so she was helping you with some like marketing. You guys were talking. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Always important.
Because she came, when I first met her, I didn't know her from anywhere. And we started talking, Ron. That's how she says it, Ron. So proper. If you ever need any help on anything, just let me know. I'll help you. You don't have to worry about nothing. I'll help you. Well, a month went by. Then I think another 2 weeks went by. I said, I need some help. How many men would admit they need help? That's one stigma right there, men got. They will not ask for help. I will. I hold both hands up. I need some help. So I reached out to her, and we sat here for about 3 hours, and we talked about everything I was doing. And what really blew her away, she said, you didn't tell me you had a nonprofit.
You did not, and I was,
and I said, well, you didn't ask.
That was so very important.
So when I told her that, the wheels started turning upstairs, and they probably still turning. That poor squirrel's drunk right now, going around in circles up in her head. But when I told her that, a whole new light opened up on what the radio station could be. All because bringing somebody in from the outside and looking in, you'd be surprised what people see that you don't see.
Yeah, and that's a good point as well. Even going back, so I know we're off of this topic of the conversation of when you come in contact with other people, they should be able to help you to, whether it's mentally, spiritually, add on to, hey, sometimes you don't see things that other people see. But a lot of people won't. They will see little minor things that you can tweak, that it wouldn't take them nothing but a second to offer it, but they're too busy being in competition with you to think you're trying to steal that idea. They're going to steal it from you, and that's another setback. Any of you can call me today, tomorrow. Hey, I have an idea. Okay, I'm coming. I'm down. Where can I help at? What do you need me to do to assist you? And the same way I am with Ron as well.
It's approachability too.
Yeah, that is true.
Because some people are, just defiant or
insecure.
Oh yeah, that's
there you go.
Now that one there, that probably can be a whole nother discussion. I've met people, and it doesn't matter. You can meet wealthy people. People can have their own businesses. The thing is that you can't fix anybody's insecurities, and I think that is one of the most hurtful things. To where you could be a genuine person, you can be a prestigious person. It doesn't matter when you come around with somebody with their own insecurities that they're dealing with, and don't be a person that actually gets attention, in their presence. Oh my gosh.
People get mad when you tell them they need therapy.
I call it, I say some people just are mentally unstable, emotionally. That is when I just dealing with people as a whole, whether it's business, I need for you to be emotionally stable. That's going to help everyone. That's going to help you grow. That's going to help me grow, and we can actually build a friendship or any type of relationship going forward. Because a lot of people, they're emotionally imbalanced is because their insecurities and they haven't dealt with them yet. So they put it on, they project it to the next person and say, well, I don't like you, or I don't like you. For no reason, because you haven't dealt with these things that's going on, in your head and your heart. That's a whole nother topic.
That's something you have to teach your kids also.
Yes.
Because when they're coming up, they're dealing with bullies. They're dealing with, teenage girls are like the worst, okay? I'm serious. When it comes to picking on other girls. Okay.
Grown women are the same. I didn't think they were, but goodness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right, let me see.
I gotta say something. Okay, so coming up, I was always very shy, I was very outgoing, but only in my comfort zone, you know. But anything outside of my comfort zone, I would kind of withdraw, just sit back, watch, look. So when I talked about a person that's not a good communicator, okay, it's like I knew how to communicate, but I wasn't comfortable always doing it. So according to Doc over here, I need counsel. I've grown out of it over the years, but it was just part of my personality. I was just very not comfortable with everybody. You know, I was only comfortable in my comfort zone. So when it came to communicating with people, for the most part, I would just sit back, listen, watch, learn, and would not really contribute to the conversation because that was an insecurity on my part.
How'd you get out of it?
You know, I'm not even really totally out of it. Like what we're doing right now, I'm in my comfort zone, so I can do this, okay? But maybe in another situation, people I don't know and people, you know, areas that I'm not familiar with or comfortable with, I still will sit back, watch, listen until I am comfortable enough.
Don't you think that's human nature?
Yeah, I was going to kind of pick it. Like, why are you calling
you guys telling me this is normal?
No, it sounds like social anxiety. I don't think I'm okay with the word insecurity, because insecurity is a very, very strong word that we throw around very, very often, not understanding the definition of it. And what you just described, I would not peg that as being insecure or insecurities. However, it does sound like some social anxiety somewhere along the lines, which is totally different from insecurity. Means that it's something that makes you feel less than about yourself. It's something there, like if you come in a room with the five of us, now you feel a little less than. You don't feel like you fit in. And generally people that do feel that type of way, those people become bullies. They start making rumors about people, putting other people down because of their insecurities. You didn't describe that. You described something more so on the level of social anxiety of some sort. So I would recommend to be careful with that, because insecurity goes very, very far, and you don't seem to have that from what I'm gathering. Just and like she said, human nature, growing. I like to talk. I work in law, so all I do is talk. So I get a kick out of it. So I get a kick out of it. However, it's other things where I'm a little bit more shyer, because it's not, you know, it's not my little cup of tea, so I'll have to get into it. But I wouldn't call it an insecurity. It's just, I'm just not as comfortable in my zone as I am with, you know, another thing.
Right. So you're doing a better job of explaining it than...
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I didn't think it was an issue per se, or that issue, because I'm the same way. Put me in the room for small talk, I am so not interested. Y'all would be surprised that, you know, this is Erica, but I always got something to say. I could go. I could do podcasts. I want to be the next Oprah. Like, it's always something that I got to say. But if you put me in an environment of small talk, or just other females that's talking about stuff that I don't care about, I don't do nothing but no small talk. I'm just going to let y'all talk. I mean, you know, I may have a million things to say because I don't care about it. I don't care at all, not even a little bit. But let's talk about something that has some substance, and then there we go.
There you
so
go.
That's
There you go. Exactly.
But I did want to bounce off of, you know, our comments about counseling. I just have to put this really quick: mental health. Mental health is a thing that we run from in our community, and we shouldn't. I talked a lot about things foundationally, and I've become more familiar with the industry of mental health, I guess, because of what me and my kids have been through over these last few years trying to get out of that. And there's still ramifications. You know, I didn't even know what anxiety was. I didn't know it was a thing. until I had to deal with the court systems and all this crazy stuff. So there's just a lot on us. You know, like I said, it comes through our business interactions, whether we have an attitude or less to deal with or whatever. Even the concept of being a single mom now, that's a different idea than me being at home making dinner every day with the kids. I would like that domesticness again, you know, but my mind is on business constantly because I'm the only one that's going to pay the bills, stuff like that. So counseling, mental health, I think is very important for us to not shy away from. If you need counseling, get the counseling. Because like right now, there's a few things that I can't tell anybody but the counselor. And I will say that there are a lot of programs out there that they claim to have counseling, but when I needed it, I could not find it for me and my kids.
Well, you know what? I got a phone number for you.
Oh, I found it now. I'm
Okay,
going
I
to give
got
them
ready to say.
the Guadalupe County Child Advocacy Center.
Okay.
I mean, I reached out to so many areas in Bexar County and San Antonio,
They don't have it.
I would call and nobody returned the availability wasn't there and whatever. So I'm not saying it's easy because counseling is not cheap, but if you keep digging, you can, I think it's important. I put it along the lines of, like I said, relationships, how we relate with one another is extremely important. There's some fundamental things that they should be teaching in school. Counting money and relationships are at the top of that list. You're not going to see that in a system that systematically wants you to stay here so they can be here. So it's our job to make sure that we talk about things like mental health and how we relate with one another, because it's so important. If I look at this situation and I have an attitude that has such an impact on it versus I look at it and I have some patience, whatever it is, or if I'm offended, and let's go back to the 4 agreements. Let's not take things personally, all those type of things, how we relate with one another. So I think, mental health, I just wanted to put that out there that we some of us are afraid of talking about in our community.
I'm glad you brought that up about mental health. I got a couple of friends. One is Joseph Lee. He's overseas right now. The other one is Martha Rice. And Martha Rice broke out a chart. There are 350 patients to one mental health counselor. They are overloaded with that right there. There's a lot going on. The pandemic brought all this out. It came to a head. And then, not to get political, all those too brought everything out to a head because people are doing things they normally don't do. We're not thinking, that critical thinking, we're not doing that. We rather get on this phone and read what somebody else put out and believe that's true. And it's not. We lost the point of actually digging around and finding the facts. And that's what's going on there. So mental health has really skyrocketed. That is a market right there for anybody who want to get that, and nursing are the 2 highest right there for job seeking out for that right there.
So you mean the greatest demand for those jobs?
Yeah, the greatest demand for those jobs are those 2 right there.
I wanted to say, I believe, just to piggyback off of what Erica said, I'm a high believer in counseling, therapy, whatever you want to call it. I think everybody should take it. I think every single person, and I think starting as kids. I think starting as kids, and it's a stigma in our community that we shouldn't, but as I got older, even with myself and my daughters, I put us into family counseling, best thing in the world, and we had to go through a few of these therapists because I'm like, no, she doesn't get our dynamic, and it was nothing wrong. It was nothing wrong, but what I appreciated out of being out of this, my daughter told me one day, she said, Ma, you know what really hurt my feelings? And I said, what? And she said, when you used to work, and because I kept my kids in sports and activities, she said when I would go to my sporting event, you weren't there. And then I would look, and then the other kids will have their mothers or their fathers, and you weren't there because I had to work. I had to work and pay the bills. But I didn't know this was harboring on this child's heart for so long. And every time I think about it, it kind of makes me teary because it's some things that are just not being said, you know, in your household with your wife. It's some things you just don't even want to tell your husband about or your wife about. It's some things that your kids don't even want to speak to your parents about. It happens. So I think everybody, if you can afford it, mostly through our jobs, through our employers, these places offer free counseling. All you have to do is just do the legwork and get on there. And I think every single person, especially in our community, kids and all, we should start taking advantage. Let somebody have an outlet. Sometimes that's all you need is just to talk to somebody and to get it out.
How easy or how difficult is it to talk to a stranger and open up to them and tell them personal things?
It's
you
easy.
know,
You have to find a
I think it depends on the
comfortability.
person.
Yeah, it depends on that person as well. But you remember, these are trained where they're supposed to be. These are trained therapists, counselors, to where they're supposed to be able to peg in and get you to adapt to open. Because you have some people that are introverts. They don't want to talk. They don't even want to talk to their parents. However, that's what their skill is supposed to be. They're supposed to be able to pull you in, to make you comfortable. That's why the selection of the person is very, very important as well. But it's very, very useful because you know what I find with people, just people as a whole, people have a lot to say. They just want to, you know who got on my nerve yesterday and I almost wanted to fight. I wanted to do this, and people just have a lot to say. They have a lot to get off their chest. When I finish doing my counseling, I feel so much better because you know why? It helps me keep emotionally balanced because people will try you, and they try you a lot in this world. You know, and sometimes I don't want to get on the phone with my friends. They be like, "Oh, you still going through that?" I'm like, yeah, look, I'm still going through that. But sometimes it just helps to say, you know what? And like I tell sometimes you just need somebody to listen. Sometimes it's not even about, you know, talking back and forth, just to get it off of your chest and what you consider to be a safe space.
And this is a great conversation because it also goes back to your question, like how do we change things, you know, in our communities, and you know, one person at a time, one family at a time, because Ty. I keep wanting to say Tia, but that we have a stigma, you know, in our community, in our culture, you know. Counseling, I ain't going to see no shrink, you know, things like that. And because, you know, we are my daughter wants to be a therapist, and she encouraged us to go to family therapy and family counseling, and now we find ourselves counseling each other. My daughter's 14, but I'll be like, look, girl, listen, you need to hear this. I need to get this out, girl. And you know, that doesn't change the mother-daughter dynamic. She knows that I'm her mama and I'm gonna get with her. But it also allowed me to understand her, because for me, I'm a problem solver, right? So when she comes to me with this problem or with this bad day or with this or with this that, you know, I'm like, well, okay, so what you want me to do? Like, because I'm ready to go, you know? And she's like, okay, Mom, listen, this conversation right here is, I just need to get something off my chest, not for you to be a problem solver. So she's able to now put me in my place, or put me in context, let me be allowed to listen, you know, to her, and not always a problem solver. But therapy is just good, and people get upset when you tell them, oh, you need therapy, you need to go to counseling, you know, 'cause I'm quick to say that. I say it all the time. People have a problem, you need counseling. You need counseling. But you know, that could be...
You can't just go around telling people you ain't need counseling and expect them to not give you the side eye. Now, let's be real. Let's be honest about this. Yeah, we need to change our mindset about counseling, but you can't just say that everywhere. You know?
All right.
I know how to cook
me the couch.
Okay. With that being said, we need to wrap things up because boy, we went over. I know. Hey,
We're having fun.
I know. But you know,
it is after 10 o'clock.
But you know, it was great to bring the round table back. Those of you. We used to do the round table all the time and visit each other's houses and do it. And we had one discussion one time. This guy called in from Oklahoma, was having problems with his I don't know, his girlfriend or wife or one of them. And Joseph Lee is the counselor on our panel. We all looked at him and said, "This is your call." This is your call right here. So, you know, but it goes back, and people have been asking for it to come back again. And I appreciate everybody coming and saying yes to me. I wouldn't take no for an answer anyway, to be honest with you. But I brought it up, and then when I brought it up to Ty, she said, "I want to be on it." I told Erica, "I want to be on it." I went to Dr. Cross here at her restaurant. I said, "You want to be on my panel?" "Yeah." But Dee Dee, all I do is I just text Dee Dee. He said, "Good, I'm down." And Anthony, I had to bring Anthony in because I don't want to be the only guy here getting beat up on.
My wife told me I was going to be here.
See?
I love the way he said that.
Because I texted his wife and I said, "You think Anthony could be on the show? Well, let me get back with you on that right there." I really need him on the show. I really do, because if things get heated, I might just duck. That's all. But I do appreciate everybody showing up today. Anybody want to do any closing remarks, starting over here with Ty?
Well, I just want to say thank you, Ron, for having me on your show. It's my first time on here. I'm very appreciative as well. Ms. Crystal, I'm definitely coming out to Chicago Bites. I'm going to be a big supporter of you. Erica, I look forward to seeing you at the Twisted Tea. You know, I support your events, and it's been beautiful meeting both of you as well. And I believe I was going to get your information where you said you do the karaoke. I love to go support people. I'm always on the go. And if you have anything going on as well, I would love to be a supporter of it as well. So thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, Ron. I love how you bring the community together. It's definitely a good work. Your heart is in it, and it's important. And all the topics that we talked about and everything, you're definitely in the center and in the middle of that. So, yeah, I just have some events coming up, like the Twisted Tea Adult Tea Party coming up. We're doing game night trivia jam at Crystal's Place at a Chicago Bite on Wednesdays from 7 to 9. So you can look all of that up. Follow me at the Erica Powers on any platform, and you can find that information.
Thank you for having me, Ron. It's nice meeting you all, and definitely coming out to see you.
And make sure you have the peach cobbler. I'm just saying, for real, okay?
Yeah. Listen,
Like,
somebody keep on saying peach cobbler over there.
Look, everybody, what time you close tomorrow?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Okay. And Ron, it's been a plum-pleasing pleasure to be back on the round table. I love it. And you guys are great. I mean, like, it's really been nice, you know, having these conversations with Come on, Crystal, stop it.
You give me the side eye.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Straight face. But anyway, it's been a lot of fun tonight, and it's been a pleasure meeting all of you guys and, you know, chatting it up and everything. We've had some really good conversations, and every time we do this, it's always, you know, a good time. My name is Karaoke Dee Dee. Karaoke Dee Dee's in the house, y'all.
Yeah.
But anyway, you guys can catch me on Thursdays and Sundays at Santa's Place, 417 Sprigsdale. The second Saturday of the month, that's from 8 until 11 o'clock. On the second Saturday of the month, I will be at Basie's Seafood and Soul Food Restaurant, and that's a day party from 1 until 4 o'clock, and that's the Valley High location right outside of Lackland Air Force Base. And also at the social venue, and I do that whenever she calls me. Whenever she's got an event going on, she'll call me in, you know.
How can we follow you?
Okay, so on Facebook, I'm Dee Dee Huff, and I have 2 pages. I didn't know what I was doing, okay? and when I saw a lot of my friends were missing, I'm like, where did they all go? And then I found another Dee Dee Huff. And that one was me. So, friend the one in the white. And I'm also Karaoke Dee Dee on Facebook. And I have business cards. My phone number, I do get my phone number out because if you guys have an event, coming up okay, my job is to make sure you guys have fun, okay? And that's what I do. So no matter what type of event it is, just call me at 210-274-7891. I'll repeat that. 210-274-7891. Text me, don't call me, text me. Because I get a lot of spam,
Or somebody call or wake up in the morning. I'm not going to say who that is.
I wonder who that is. Hey, Dee Dee, you're on the radio. Ron, I worked last night. I didn't get home till 2 o'clock in the morning.
I did Erica the same way.
I was going to say the exact same way. I'm thinking he's calling to prepare me for our appointment. No, we already on the radio.
You're on the air, right?
I still got the frog in my throat. You didn't give me time.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Dr. Cross.
Y'all need therapy. No, I'm just it was great to meet all of you all. Great to be on here. I love it. And y'all can follow me on Facebook or all platforms at A Chicago Bite. And come and see me for a Bite of Chicago, 2339 East Evans Road.
Oh, she said that, but she was positive on that one. And don't forget to order Chicago hot dogs. That's all I'm going to say.
And a peach cobbler.
The peach cobbler.
Definitely.
Erica been on me about these desserts. Like, she been on me so much that, like, today it was 3 peach cobblers left, and I was like, I was gonna bring her one, but no, because then I only have 2 left, and that won't be good. And I didn't get a chance to make any more.
Oh, we just take it from her. You give it to her, we just take it from her.
I was so busy making all of the other
somebody over that
desserts.
peach cobbler.
I'm not scared of you, Erica.
Hey,
What time in the
let's
morning do you get there to do all that? Or how does that work?
Sometimes I don't have desserts. I'll just say that.
Okay.
That's why she
the
said I got
problem.
on her.
Yeah,
I was like, I
she
had
got
people
out
there, and I asked them for the feedback after the game night, and they're like, it was fun, but I just wanted some dessert. I just wanted some dessert. I was like, girl. And so now that I tasted it, I'm going to stay on you.
Okay.
I'm going to stay on you.
So just tell me when I can come and get some peach cobbler, okay?
I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come too. I like to eat, so I'm
I'm gonna
coming.
do my best to make sure, like I said, since Erica got on me, I've been doing my best to make sure that I always have desserts.
Okay.
Because no, look, seriously, I told you from a business standpoint, you just, good desserts are hard to find. And even if, you
Especially
have
after you tasted the peach cobbler.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to stop saying it because I don't do everybody's peach cobbler or dessert. So if it's going to be good, I want it to be there, And so if that's a place that people can go to grab their peach cobbler and you already got it ready, girl, I'm just saying, like, it's right
What
there.
if somebody comes and buy all of them?
Then you got some more to make. That's a good problem.
And I'm not there.
That's been tomorrow it'll be there.
But that's a good problem to have, right?
It is. So what you do is you let me know when you have it, and I'll buy it. And when she shows up, say Ron bought it all.
He trying to make an enemy. We're friends. We're trying to make an enemy out of friendship.
I told you I'm an instigator.
Oh my
Look,
God.
I just want 2, okay? I just want 2.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We appreciate everybody showing up. We are doing a round table once a month on the first Friday of the month. And I love it in my new place right here. It's Williams Historical National Museum. He has all of the local San Antonio politicians, you name it, sports, religious, everything's on the wall about history, everything there. And if you're hungry tomorrow, he is doing a barbecue plate tomorrow, starting at 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Here I'm giving him a shameless plug. 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. he'll have brisket, ribs, and sausage. And 2 meats is $14. So I see he didn't email me or tell me to say that. He told me that earlier to make sure I get that out. But I'm Ron G on WSN Radio. I'm just a one-man show right now. I'm waiting for my interns to come in. Oh, Lord, I can't wait for them to come in. Boy, oh boy. But I'd like to thank Ty, Erica, Anthony, Dee Dee, Dr. Cross for showing up. I appreciate y'all coming on board and keeping me sane. So with that, I'm going to say what I always say all the time before I end. Here we go. Peace and chicken grease. We catch everybody else down the line. I'm out.
WSAN Radio.
We welcome everybody who listened to our guest today, and we appreciate you chiming in and let us know what's going on. If you have anything you want to talk about, please hit us up at 210-461-8034, or hit us up on our website, WSANradio.com, and we will be glad to have you come on board and be one of our guests. Thank you.